Page 2 of our new book. It's a small book, only 11 pages, but hey, page 2. We are going to do most of these together, actually 5 of these together. We'll start with this column right here, and I have the steps listed right there, just in case. B, we have 6 divided by n equals 1. The first thing we have to do is isolate the variable term. Here's our variable term. Here's our equal sign. It's already isolated, so we don't have to add or subtract anything. The second thing we need to do is isolate the variable, just the variable. So what we need now is this all by itself. So this is something you haven't seen before. Right now, we're dividing this by 6. We haven't done that before. What we really want to do is get this out from under the bottom. And the only way to do that is to multiply both sides by n. Watch what happens. This is interesting. When you multiply both sides by n, like this is cool. This cancels out. Uh-oh, you lost your variable. What will you do? You're left with 6. But hey, now it popped up over here. 1 times n is n. That one is just like it. I'm going to let you do that one on your own. If you aren't sure about anything, look over there. Down to numbers, letter C. We've got this right here times 3. What we're going to do is get rid of the times 3. When we do that, we will divide both sides by 3. Right now, you're multiplying 3 times all of that. You could do the distributive property and you'd still get the same answer, and it might be easier for you to do, but this is a quicker way to do it, really. Especially when you have long expressions on each side of an equation and you have distribution. If you can get rid of the distribution without even having to do it, it'll save you time. When I do that, that cancels out, and then I'm left with, on this side, x minus 3. On this side, 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now, I need to isolate the variable term. In order to do that, I've got to get rid of the minus 3. So I will add 3 to both sides. That cancels out, and I'm left with 8. I didn't have to isolate the variable because the variable was already isolated. There was no coefficient. D, this is a standard one that we've been working on. Isolate the variable term. That's my variable term. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides to get rid of that. Minus 2, minus 2. I'm left with x divided by 4 equals 1 minus 2 minus 1. Isolate the variables. Now I want to get just the variable by itself. The opposite of divide by 4 is times 4. I'm left with x equals negative 4. These are easy. I really, really enjoy doing algebraic equations. I hope that you're enjoying these. Of course, you'd probably rather be outside doing stuff or playing your guitar, but, you know, aside from those things, this isn't all that bad. G. This one is sort of different. It's like that, really, because you've got this grouping right here and you're dividing by 4, whereas you had the grouping and you were multiplying by 3. We'll do these two together, and then at the top you have one similar to it that you'll do on your own. if you're doing this by yourself and you've got an example like that, and this by yourself and you've got two examples down here, and then this by yourself and you've done lots of these already, so you don't need an example. And if you forget, you can always look at page 1. We'll do these two together. They're both the same. Really, we just want to get rid of the divided by 4 before we do anything else. I can't really do much when I've got this divided by 4. So that's easy. It's actually really easy. The opposite of divide by 4 is times 4, and then I get rid of it. That's the thing about algebra. You do little things that make it easier, and each step makes it a little bit easier, and you undo the stuff, and then the answer gets clearer and clearer, and then it's obvious. So that cancels out. And you see what I'm left with? No more fraction. X minus 3 equals 32. Now I isolate the variable term. Right now I have a minus 3 with the variable term. So I will add 3 to both sides. And I get x equals 35. I didn't need to do that. Problems like these, I'm doing a step before I get to this. Letter H. Last one is just like that. To get rid of the divide by 3, because it makes it wonky and I'm not sure what to do here, I will multiply both sides by 3. That cancels out. X plus 1 equals 3. I subtract 1 from both sides because I need to isolate the variable term. That cancels out, and I have x equals 2. So you've got 3 whopping algebra problems to do by yourself. As we get further along the book, you'll do more and more on each page by yourself. But we're still starting, and we keep encountering new types of problems, and I want to make sure you get plenty of practice before you're on your own.